know you've heard it before. Consistency is key. And it's so true. Kids need predictability to feel safe and secure. Kids who do feel safe and secure are better able to regulate their own behaviors and emotions.
One area to be consistent in is sleep. While this may seem basic, research study after research study shows the relationship between sleep and behavior. When children get good sleep, they behave better. When they have less sleep, they are more cranky and irritable. Sound familiar?
Absolutely. I'm sure you can think of many examples in your own life. Maybe your toddler missed a nap and was super cranky the next day. Maybe you had a terrible night's sleep and couldn't function at work very well.
The first area where we should attempt to keep consistent is in sleep schedules to support sleep. Children and adults should go to sleep around the same time each day and really wake up around the same time each day. This helps your child maintain consistent hormone and neurotransmitter production when their brains are growing and developing.
Absolutely. So in addition to consistent sleep, children also need regular routines in their day. There's so much anxiety that stems from the blackness of not knowing what's coming next. So think about the times in your life when this may be true. Maybe you are starting a new job. Maybe you're 9 months pregnant with your first child. Maybe you're moving to a new city.
There's a lot of anxiety that comes with not being able to picture what's going to happen next. Our children experience the same thing. When they can't picture what's about to happen next, this causes stress and worry. You can alleviate this by having some consistent routines. For example, in the morning, we wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast, then we get in the car and we go to school.
So we experienced this recently when my toddler started school for the first time. She was really struggling transitioning to school and also struggled when I picked her up. So we started to establish a really consistent routine. So now when I walk in her room, she smiles and waves, goes and gets one toy and cleans it up, runs to me, hugs me, and then she says her two brothers' names because she knows that after I pick her up, we always go get her brothers and then we get to go home.
Any sort of routine can be helpful, but these are particularly helpful during routines which can be stressful for families, such as nighttime. Often, kids aren't ready to go to bed. A bedtime routine also helps get our kids ready for higher quality sleep.
So this also means that the time leading up to bed should be really consistent. So this is when you're going to have a consistent evening routine that you follow every day. This allows your kids' brains to recognize natural patterns in the environment. So their brain will start to release melatonin, their body temperature will get lowered, and they'll start to get ready for sleep.
As consistent as we can try to be, life changes, and we have to learn to be flexible because we always get a curveball. But no one likes big surprises. An easy way to support handling changes is to provide some warnings.
So, for example, let's say you typically pick up your kids from school, but tomorrow you're not going to be able to. The night before, prepare them with something like this. Okay, tomorrow mommy has to stay later at work, so grandma's going to be the one to pick you up. She's still going to be there at the regular time and she's going to be in the normal spot, but she might be in a different car, so just be looking for her.
Sometimes we might delay or not provide a warning as we fear this may cause more difficulty or maybe they won't even notice. But our kids are really good at noticing changes, and they often desire the opportunity to process new information and have the time to ask us questions about what's going to happen.
It's also helpful to prepare your child for events by describing the scene.
If you're going into a situation that's maybe somewhat out of the norm, prepare them and go over rules and expectations before you ever start.
An example of this could be before you go into a brand new grocery store. Before you go in, stay in the car for a second and describe what you expect to see. So you may say, okay, kids, there's going to be lots of people in this store. I need to know where you are, so you should be touching the shopping cart at all times. There's also going to be a lot of really yummy foods. We can probably get some of them, but you need to ask mommy before putting them in the cart.
Another great way to describe the scene is with play dates. Your child will need a frame of reference for both what it looks like when people come over to their house and want to play with their toys, as well as what to expect when they go to someone else's house.
So for young kids, you'll want to get really descriptive on how to share their own toys and how to share other kids' toys. Don't be afraid to role play with them to figure out what that's going to look like.
For an older child, you also want to discuss what behavior is expected in certain situations. For example, having to talk with other friends' parents. Discuss how they can demonstrate good manners by maybe saying please and thank you. You can also talk about how to be a good friend by being flexible and respectful of other people's belongings. If something has happened in the past, talk through that scenario with your child and practice different responses they can use the next time.
Another really key element to consistency is follow through. That means that if you say something, you must follow through. This may be in your own promises. So you might say, hey, if you work hard in math today, we're going to go get ice cream after school. If you say it and if they do it, you have to follow through.
This follow through should also happen when we're giving corrections. So if you say, hey, if you spill that water, you have to clean it up, they really do have to clean it up. It's important that your kids trust that what you mean, you say.
Absolutely. And this isn't just for discipline, but also so that your kids trust you, that they trust your values and your character. This means that you'll spend effort in being intentional that in what you say to your children is important. If you can't do it or if you don't mean it, don't say it.
Consistent follow-through shows our children that we are dependable and we're reliable. If they desire consistency, we have to be consistent. Because what we say is what we mean, children know that engaging in negative behavior, such as crying and screaming or throwing a tantrum, does not change our mind.
Now here's the hard part. We also have to hold ourselves to the same standards. So when we fail to follow through, we see two results. If it's a promise that we're not following through on, then our kids can't trust us and they might not think that we are reliable. Or if we fail to follow through on a correction, so we tell them to do something and they don't do it, and then we don't follow through, your kid's more likely to engage in that negative behavior again.
Our children should not have to guess what our response will be based on our mood. Because we say what we mean, but we're still consistent and calm, it does not matter if we're in a good mood or a bad mood, we mean what we say.